Is Kyren Williams a top running back in the NFL? That is the question we're going to be trying to answer in today's video. Let's get into it. So what's up, guys? I have been a little MIA recently just because when the Rams were doing so bad and then they had a bye week, I didn't really want to be making videos on the Rams, if I'm going to be honest. Plus, I was really busy with my other business that I do run. So I just wanted to, let you guys know, hey, I'm back. When the Rams aren't doing well, I'm not very motivated to make these videos, and I do these for fun. So if I ever take a little hiatus after a couple Rams losses, you kind of know what it is. I just don't want to make the videos on them, but I'll try to stay a little bit more consistent, especially with the Rams' upcoming schedule. I think we can get another 2 wins here and be right at 7-6. And there's actually a way that the Rams can get into the playoffs as early as this week. Now, we would need a Dallas victory over Seattle, and then I believe a Kansas City Chiefs victory over the Packers, and then we would need to beat the Browns, and then we would actually be in the playoffs already. Now, we do have a harder schedule than, say, the Packers, who have already beaten us, so we do need a little bit of help from, say, the Lions and things of that nature. So we definitely are not secure in this playoff race yet, but I believe our chances at making the playoffs are now as good as 44%. They started off last week at 17%. So we're jumping up there. But either way, enough of the Rams talk. We're here to talk about Kyren Williams. And the first article I want to go over from Rams Wire is, when will defenses start respecting Kyren Williams? So I actually went to this game this past week. I actually live in Phoenix, so I was able to go to this Rams game. But in the last 2 games, he's rushed for 301 yards and 36 carries. That's an average of 8.4 yards per carry. He helped by his 7 runs of 10 plus yards and 4 carries of at least 24 yards, including a season long of 56 yards against Sunday against the Cardinals. And let me tell you guys, we put a whooping on the Cardinals. It was crazy. And the Rams fans actually kind of showed out in Phoenix, so I'm actually pretty happy about that. He's hit his stride as the Rams starting running back, ranking 18th in the NFL with 599 yards in just 7 games. Most running backs have played 11 games. So if he were healthy this whole time, didn't have those 4 weeks off on IR, I would assume that he would be up there in the upper echelon of the top 5 running backs. But in rushing yards per game, he leads the league with an average of 85.6, slightly ahead of Christian McCaffrey. So obviously Christian McCaffrey is going to be a better dual threat and score more touchdowns than Kyren Williams. Although Kyren does score a lot of touchdowns, he's up there in all statistical categories if we go by per game basis. Williams isn't the biggest, fastest, or most athletic running back, but he's taken full advantage of every opportunity in front of him. According to Next Gen Stats, Williams is the only qualified running back in the NFL who has yet to run into a stacked box of at least 8 defenders. Derrick Henry, for comparison, leads the league with 41% stacked box rate. So basically, teams are not respecting Kyren Williams, and that is going to happen soon if they're going to want to stop him. So that leads us to 2 questions. Why aren't teams stacking the box against him? And 2, when will this change, if ever? The first answer is twofold. Defenses simply aren't respecting Williams yet, daring the Rams to beat them on the ground. We've been doing it when he rushes for 15, or when he has 15 carries. I believe we are 4-0. So they're just not respecting us yet. And they're using light boxes and dropping more players into coverage. That's why you saw Kupp and Puka not do as well last week. Having to throw to some different people like Tutu Atwell on a lot of big plays. But yeah, secondly, the Sean McVay scheme is excellent when it comes to opening up the field and spreading out the defense, because the Rams are so confident in the blocking ability of their receivers, they can heavily utilize 11 personnel with 3 receivers on the field. Cooper Kupp's very good at blocking, so is Puka Tutu Atwell, not as much, but you often notice that Tutu Atwell is out on a lot of run plays. That is something that a lot of defenses most likely pick up on as well, though. That forces defenses into nickel and dime sets with only 1 or 2 inside linebackers out there. So the Rams can run the ball successfully because they're not stacking the box and because of scheme. So yeah, one other thing I wanted to note is no player in NFL history has had a stat line like Kyren Williams in Week 12. He did it all, basically rushing for 143 yards on 16 carries and catching 6 passes for 61 yards and 2 touchdown receptions. It was the best performance of his career and statement in his first game back. Kyren, if you have him in a fantasy, don't trade him. He is literally going to be one of the best fantasy running backs for the rest of the year. His stat line from Sunday's win is something never accomplished by a player before in NFL history. He's the first player ever with 140 yards or rushing yards, 6 catches, and 60 receiving yards, and at least 2 touchdown catches. Now, obviously, this is most likely because of the 2 touchdown catches. Running backs don't do that too often, and the fact that he also had 140 rushing yards, he made history. So, he lightly on a random Sunday making history. Williams is a true workhorse for the Rams, and especially in Sunday's game, touching the ball 22 times in the victory. He's owned the Cardinals his last 2 games, but we'll see if he can keep it up against Cleveland this weekend. I definitely think he can. What do you guys think? How do you think he'll do against Cleveland next weekend? I'm definitely interested in hearing everything you guys have to say. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.